Without much ado, I would humbly invite Honorable Justice Dipak Misra to deliver the inaugural address.
Dr. Sukhada Pritam, Dr. Sandeep Marwa, Dr. Srivastav, Dr. Akhtar, Mr. Sharma, Mr. Raina, the members of the faculty, and my friends-in-law. Am I visible to you? You say otherwise, what's the point? Have you ever gone to a Lok Adalat? Have gone? Yes. Yeah. You have an attitude for settlement? हाँ कि ना तो बोलो. You have an attitude for settlement? Yes, sir. Okay, fine. Let's settle. I shall speak for 20 minutes, and these 20 minutes are endorsed by you to me. Right? No, I know you. I don't want a captive audience. I want an attentive audience. Wonderful. Let's go back first to Athens. Sometime during the day, a gentleman is naked and comes running, shouting the word Eureka. That's Archimedes. I tell 3 examples from 3 historical personalities and just remember the names and the word Eureka and Archimedes. Then there was a man who could not speak much. God had not gifted him the right to speak with fluency, but he was not a man to accept the defeat. He will go to the seashores and shout and try to organize his voice so that there was fluency. He would judge his fluency from the echo. He was Demosthenes. Demosthenes, he is regarded till today as the greatest orators of the human history. Third personality, a man waiting underneath a tree, an apple falls down and he finds out the principles of gravity. When asked about his knowledge and wisdom, the man says, I've just collected some pebbles near the seashores. I do not have much of wisdom. The man is Newton. The fourth man wanted to become a lawyer, had no money, Nothing he had. He reads underneath the lamppost and finishes all the volumes of Blackstone. And he goes up to become the President of the United States of America, Abraham Lincoln. Now these four persons, these four protagonists of the history in different fields. One, Archimedes, Demosthenes, Newton, and Lincoln. What are we, you, supposed to learn from them as lawyer students? Today I am not addressing you as mooters for law. Mooters are law students and you are going to become lawyers. Whether you practice or become magistrates or go on practicing and become high court judges or you join somewhere as a job, that's different. Primarily you are a lawyer. Could be. Now, when you are searching for a problem, have you searched? Have you done any research? Yeah. When you are researching for a problem, which I would like to call research, and when you get the result, there is excitement, there is enthusiasm, there is rush of blood to the mind in a different way. I'm not saying rush to the brain, rush of blood to the mind. You are satisfied. You don't shout Eureka, but your heart says Eureka. Your marrows says Eureka. Yes, I have got it. That's what matters. Now, this gentleman who did not have to speak but becomes one of the greatest orators of the history, he knows his points well. He is the advocate. I've always drawn a distinction between a lawyer and an advocate. How many of you have read Chagla's Roses in December? No, I don't. Anyway, please read. Chagla makes a distinction between a lawyer and advocate. He says Muhammad Ali Jinnah was a good advocate but not a good lawyer. Elaborating the concept, he says that he could really express himself, whatever he knew in law, but he did not really do the research to understand the law. But Jinnah was great as a lawyer, as an advocate, but this distinction has been drawn by his own junior later on, that he was inadequate in law and adequate in advocacy. That's the distinction I wanted to point out. Similarly, what you learn from Newton, you learn supposing you win the Moot prize, would you feel happy or proud? I'm not asking, I don't intend to answer now. Who will answer? Supposing you just, doesn't matter. Whenever you achieve, Mr. Marwa used the word achiever. One has to be very, very careful about his speech. He said achiever, but though his speech was intonated, but the undercurrent was a submissive humility. And Newton till today is regarded as the most humblest scientist in the world. A successful lawyer, of which you are going to be, must learn intellectual humility, social humility, and humility as a human being. Newtonian qualities can only make you good achievers. Now, a lawyer, Lincoln was a different kind of lawyer, an ethical lawyer. I'll tell you something very interesting. Once a young man was arguing before a small judge's court. Whatever that court, let's call it a magistrate's court or higher than that. He was slightly loud and he was slightly loud and the lawyer was really behaving something different. Instead of scolding, the magistrate summoned the lawyer, Lincoln, which he had a huge reputation, and Lincoln admonished him, and that admonition is printed in 2 pages. What he said to the young boy, right? So these are the qualities you are required to gather, cultivate, culture, and also practice. Mr. Marwa said that he has something to do with films. Yeah. People must have heard. Whatever the film, especially in India, there has to be a little bit of digression. Now, while talking about the lawyers, I must take a little digression. I am talking about Lincoln. Lincoln was a lawyer. It's not out of context. Huh? Don't judge me wrong. A young man came to Lincoln and his partner, and he had to get $500 from an old lady who was 74. Lincoln read the papers. He said, "Young man, you leave the papers with us. We'll peruse the same and send you a right opinion within a week." The young man went away. After a week, a written opinion was sent to the young man. It reads thus: "Dear so and so, we have perused the papers given by you. We are convinced that you have a good case. You are bound to succeed in a court of law. But as you are young, you can always earn $500 within no time. But the defendant is an old lady of 74. We will advise you not to pursue the litigation. This advice we give you without charging you." This was Lincoln. So sometimes a lawyer to be must learn how to render social service. A lawyer is expected to read not only the books in law. I must confess today, I'm really happy today. You know why? I am surprised, sometimes surprised. You people did not think that to come to this place at 10 o'clock. I have to leave my place quite early and come. Why do I come? I didn't come because Mr. Marwa invited me. No? I only came to see young, charming, laughing, activated, enthusiastic faces. You know why? So I can borrow energy. Right? So, I borrowed the energy. Having said that, I am also happy. Mr. Marwa said a very good thing today. He said, you are learning from Google or other things are not good enough. Books are to be read. And when that he did not go further, that's different. When I say books are to be read, and I mean not only the books relating to law. You see, there is a passage. There's a great jurist in the United States of America, you might have heard, Kudjo. I mean, the professors have definitely read, but you might have heard or heard. He says, relating to legal education or education which is also important and pertinent for you. He says, and I quote, please be patient for this. There is education in books. There is education in books, but education in life also. Education in solitude, but education also in crowd. Education in study, but education even greater in the contagion of example. Ask any youth who has gone through a university what part of his training has counted most in later life. Almost invariably, I'm sure, the first place will be given not to shreds of information, the book learning of the schools, but to be with lofty minds, senses of values that is born of companionship bestowed by the alma mater, that the possession which you learn, and it's not the possession of a sheepskin. There's a more in membership in the bar than a license to, that's different. That part you should read. It says what you learn in a university in the companionship, it's a great learning. Learning in society, learning in crowd, learning in solitude. Every place is a place for learning, and that is why a student of law must be extremely alert. How you can remain alert? You see, there are two kinds. I was reading a book almost 35 years back while I was a lawyer. He says everyone has talent. Talent is Purushartha in a different way. All of you understand Purushartha? What you can do, and you can achieve, and as Madam Pritam said, rise to get the stars. And if you can't get into the stars, you can get into the terrace or top of the tree. That's the essence. And that is Purushartha. But Purushartha, how do you get Purushartha? You have the latent energy gifted to you. That's in your DNA. but the latent energy has to be given the driving force so that your Purushartha can be blossomed, and that is kinetic energy. You see, many people tell me, and they are saying, Bhagyam palati sarvatra nacha vidya nacha paurusam. It's everywhere the fate works, not your knowledge, wisdom, or purushartha. I mean, your thought. I told them, and I share with you today, the bhagya alone cannot be fruitful. Supposing there is a microphone, you call me to address. I have to walk from there to come here. Then I only can be audible to you. I don't get up and I say it is fated not to get up. That's not true. That's unacceptable. And that is why I would also say karma meets bhagya. Your purushartha meets bhagya. Your endeavor invites fate to marry your industry, your labor, your endeavor. Never think in life you can achieve just like that. You have to walk miles before you become an achiever. Now, how to become an achiever? I've already given one example. As a student of law, you have to do something extra. That extra, that a passage by Joseph Bradley. He writes beautifully, I quote, in order to be an accomplished lawyer, it's necessary, besides having a knowledge of the law, to be an accomplished man, graced with at least a general knowledge of history, of science, of philosophy, of the useful arts, of the modes of business, and of everything that concerns the well-being and intercourses of men in society. He ought to be a man of large understanding. He must be a man of large acquirements and rich in general information, for he is a priest of the law. I repeat this part. He is a priest of the law, which is born and support of civil society, and which extends to and regulates every relation of one man to another in that society and every transaction that takes place in it. Unquote. Look, everything is in it. You have to read. You can't just say, I read law books and not philosophy and other things. While as individuals, while as lawyers, you have a duty to build yourselves as individuals. I have always maintained a student of law stands against anarchy. He understands the best the constitutional values, norms, and behavior. That is what makes him a complete and accomplished lawyer. You see, way back, nothing to do with the lawyers, but Rajgopalachari has said, I hope you all know who Rajgopalachari was. He said, national character National character is the keystone on which rests the fate and future of our public affairs, not this or that ism. National character depends on, and in fact, is individual rectitude. Individual honesty must be brought into being before we can hope for improvement of national affairs. If the past field of Indian politics and administration has to get fresh, green, life and grow, we need the monsoon of purity. Monsoon of purity in national character. And the monsoon consists of little drops falling united to make the rain. Individual purity and character alone can revive the past field. Let's regain our good character quickly. Unquote. Is it irrelevant? The question to all of you today is Rajgopalachari irrelevant today? Now I will have two more ideas. If I cross 20 minutes, please extend by mediation. I don't agree with Mr. Professor Salim. I don't agree with Dr. Salim Akhtar. He said that in 1997, when he suggested that it should be a moot court. Now he changed his ideas. He has changed his ideas is another thing. While I was a student, it was called a moot court. In 75, 76. Now it is called a moot court. It should be called a moot court, and your suggestion in 97 was correct. And we give congratulations for that. Consistency. No, let me first start with this. There are two kinds of people, two categories of people who want, of the first category wants everything to change. The second category wants nothing to change. Both are wrong. There must be change with progress. But for the sake of change, do not change. Change the structure of the moot court, which has been changing. It's on the right track. So, Dr. Salim was right in 97, and he will rectify and also think of moot court is correct. You see, I can't really resist from stating what I am going to state now. I find so many ladies over here. Now science says the ladies have more intuitive power. They can do 3 works at a time, whereas a man can only do 1 work. No, it's a fact. But they can do it. I'll give an example. What is the difference between an intellectual brain and an intuitive brain? Supposing X is throwing a ball at Y. Y is a great intellectual in science. So he will calculate the speed, the velocity, the volume, whatever it is. So he will say, by this time the ball will come, I can take care of it. Whereas an intuitive brain just diverts, ball goes away, doesn't hit. Similarly, the scientists say the ladies are more intuitive brain. And that apart they can do 3. You see, their body cells, the brain cells slip. I think it might be my arithmetically may be wrong today. I think it is 40%, whereas the cells in a brain of a man, I think this sleeps about 80%. So, to a little bit of distraction, a lady wakes up, there's an alarm, while the man sleeps. And she can make tea, hold a child, and look at the husband, whether he's reading a magazine or the newspaper. Anyway, having said this, the women have been fighting for equality for centuries. The greatest issue in 21st century also whether the women have got equality as conceived of in law. Nobody gives equality to a lady. Equality for a woman is natural, universal, and they earn it from their birth. Nobody gives it. There is no giving. You see, 19th century, there was a great poet, P.B. Shelley. He wrote about this anguish of the woman because they are suffering. Look at the expression, right? The 6-7 lines, I quote, desires and adorations, winged persuasions and veiled destinies, splendors and glooms and glimmering, incarnations of hope and fears, and twilight fantasies and sorrow with her family of sighs, and pleasure blind with tears, led by the gleam of her own dying smile instead of eyes. How painful! What kind of anguished expression for the half of the species of the human race. And therefore there are people who have said, so, that women should come for their rights because it's due to them. Now in the moot court competition, I have a singular advice. Participation in a moot court is a teamwork. And you learn from each other. You have come from different places. There is a companionship, there is a friendship, and there must be also learning from each other. You must know that learning helps, and this teamwork helps you to abandon the inferiority complex. Never compare yourself with anyone in life. And Moot Court teaches you not to compare yourself with anyone but participate in a competition. And competition has to be done with tremendous sense of equanimity and patience. Patience and control over anger helps while putting forth your propositions in a moot court. Remember, participation is an achievement. I congratulate all the participants. I'm not saying best of luck. I congratulate all the participants because they are participating. Thank you. Thank you.